Our film is about a girl named Cotton who walks through a market selling old things, thriving and enjoying looking at the items there. Then she stops in front of an iron ball that looks strange. The seller tells her that this ball is called the friendship game. She tests her friendships with her closest friends to see if they are true friends or not. If the game tests them and they fail, their lives will end. Cotton is told that the game is played by sitting around the ball with her friends, each placing their fingers on it and tells their deepest secrets, which the game will fulfill. Then they will know if their friendship is real or not. At that moment, Zuza, Cotton's friend, hears the seller's words with Cotton and they decide to buy it. Then they go to Rob and Courtney, their friends, and spend enjoyable time together. After a while, they go to Cotton's house to play the game. At first, they're surprised by the idea of the game and make fun of it, but Cotton tells them that they will go in separate ways for college in a few weeks, except Zuza, who will stay in the same city to study. Cotton wants to play to find out if they will remain friends or not and explains the idea of the game to them. Then they start placing their hands on the ball and the game begins. There is a camera in the room and Kyle, a child, watches them through it. At that moment, Cotton wishes they will remain friends forever. A few days pass and the four friends attend a party and enjoy the atmosphere. When Cotton looks for Zuza and Rob, she finds them together. She becomes annoyed, leaves, gets into her car feeling devastated, hallucinates, and sees the ball right in front of her. And in the mirror, she sees a strange creature suddenly attacks her. The next day, it is announced that Cotton is missing and Kyle, who was watching them, becomes tense upon hearing the news. He returns home and his mother tells him that she knows he hasn't been going to school for a week and asks him not to cause any more trouble because she is tired. He leaves her room and goes to his room watching videos of Cotton again. Returning to the day of the wish, we see Zuza wishing that Cotton doesn't get upset and when they travel abroad to study, so they all end up happy while she is miserable. Afterwards, we go to the day of the party. We see Zuza and Rob leaving the party sitting together and reassuring each other that they will remain friends and always meet during vacations. However, Zuza is sad and tells him that it won't happen, making them realize they might have feelings for each other. After a while, Zuza goes into the bathroom and starts hallucinating that she's in Cotton's room with the ball beside her, and it frightens her. The next day, Zuza is at home holding a picture of her and her friend feeling sad about her friend's disappearance. Then the investigator arrives at Zuza's house and questions her about Cotton's disappearance. She finds out that she questioned everyone at yesterday's party, and they all said they saw her at the party. Several people even mentioned that she left the party feeling distressed. When Zuza says she didn't see her at the party, the investigator is surprised because they are very close friends. However, Zuza justifies her position, saying she wasn't really paying attention at the party. Zuza then goes out to meet Courtney and they hang up pictures of Cotton everywhere. Courtney is very worried about Cotton and feels she won't come back, unlike Zuza, who isn't as affected and feels Cotton deliberately left to start her life elsewhere. Zuza goes to work, starts hallucinating again, imagining herself bleeding at the party, but in reality, she's at work and nothing is wrong. She quickly leaves. Later, Rob comes to talk to Zuza about Cotton, but she refuses to discuss it and walks away, leaving him behind. Returning to the day of the wish, we see Courtney wishing to be accepted into the university she wants because her grades are low and she's afraid she won't get in. Days later, Courtney receives a message that she has been accepted into the university she wanted. At the same time, Zuza meets Courtney and knew that she has been accepted into the university. This means the game granted everyone's wishes. Courtney got into the university despite thinking it was impossible, and Zuza wasn't affected by her friend's absence as she wished. But Zuza doesn't believe it and walks away. Then Courtney feels movement around her, takes out her phone and threatens to record anyone who moves near her so they don't harm her. Suddenly, she imagines Cotton next to her and Cotton tells her that their friendship is ruined. Then she kills her with a knife. But in reality, there is no knife or cotton at all, and Courtney realizes it's just a hallucination. Then, we return to the day of the game and see Rob embarrassed, wishing his wish near them, but wishing the girls would like him. On the day Rob met Zuza, he imagined Cotton walking by. He approached her and imagined her saying their friendship had failed and that the game would take revenge on them. Suddenly, he imagined his hands covered in blood. But then, both the blood and Cotton disappeared. Rob understood that everything happening to them and Cotton's disappearance was because of the game. Rob went to Cotton's room searching for the ball and found it there. At that moment, Kyle saw him through the camera and suddenly the video cut off. Cotton appeared next to Rob looking at the camera as if she could see Kyle, telling him to play with her. Next, we see Zuza going to sit with Donna's son, Kyle, until she returns from her trip, needing someone to sit with him and watch over him while she's away. We learn that Donna gives Zuza money and asks her to clean her son's room. At night, Kyle sits in his room while Zuza watches TV. Suddenly, Courtney and Rob arrive to sit with him. Rob brings the game with him to play again and find out what happened to Cotton. Zuza isn't convinced about what they're doing, but she and Courtney agree to play. They start playing again, placing their hands on the ball, and suddenly, the ball shakes, hurting Zuza, and blood comes out of her finger onto the carpet. The three of them get scared, and Zuza gets up to wash the carpet. Courtney is tensed and wants to leave, but Rob stops her, reminding her that if she leaves, their friendship might fail and she could die. Courtney returns. At that moment, Kyle shows them a video on their phones from the day they first played the game. Zuza tells them that Kyle is the one recording them because he's known for these things. Then, Zuza goes out to distract herself and talks to Kyle, then they watch a movie together with Courtney. Then Rob goes into Kyle's room, and when he opens the computer, he finds many videos of Cotton, including videos of Cotton with Rob. Then Kyle enters and Rob gets mad at him and tells him that he is not normal. Suddenly, Kyle disappears from the room. We discover that at the same time Kyle was sitting with Zuza downstairs watching the movie. Suddenly, Zuza hears a voice from the ball, so she goes to it. Then Rob comes down and is injured. Rob talks about the day of the party and tells Zuza that he saw Cotton when she saw them together, which is why Cotton was upset and decided to leave. Zuza concludes that Rob and Cotton were in a relationship together behind them. At that moment, Courtney was in the bathroom when suddenly she hallucinated Cotton and the game, so she screamed. Rob and Zuza rushed to her and found her broke down. Zuza then kicked Rob out of the bathroom and stayed with Courtney alone. Courtney told her that Rob was also in a relation with her, but she didn't know he was with anyone from their friends. Just then, Rob saw Kyle standing alone in the garden, so he went to him and found him shocked. When he looked around, he saw Cotton in the lake, murdered. Rob ran towards her devastated, and when he looked back at Kyle, he was gone. Rob ran to the house but found the doors locked and Zuza and Courtney couldn't hear him calling. So Rob entered the house through Kyle's room window. At that moment, Zuza saw the game moving and remembered the day of the party when she met Cotton, who told her she was leaving town. Zuza realized she had seen Cotton with Rob. Courtney received a video on her phone from Cotton. In the video, Cotton told her that she had taken all her pills and was going to commit suicide. Courtney tried to talk to her about it but failed, leading to an argument about Zuza and Courtney. Zuza hit Cotton in the car and died. Next, we go to Rob, who opens a video on Kyle's computer and finds himself holding a knife striking Cotton in the leg, causing her death. At that moment, Zuza stands by the game and asks why all this is happening. The game tells her that this was her wish from the beginning. Rob enters the house with a knife in his hand and hits Courtney with it. He then takes the knife from Courtney to go and kill Zuza. Before he kills her, Zuza imagines Cotton beside her, and Cotton tells her that she knows she's the reason for all this because she wished from the beginning that they all would die thinking they hated her. So now the game is fulfilling her wish. We rewind to the day Cotton saw the game and we learn that Zuza prevented her from buying it from the beginning because her wish was to get rid of them. All that happened was from Zuza's imagination. The four friends enjoy their vacation before each of them travels to a different country. That's the end of our film. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments what you want the next film to be. Peace out.